Hi, Dave Stanfield with Evergreen Wealth Management LLC again. I just want to take a couple minutes and talk about a topic that's very popular and something I talk about in almost every appointment or clients ask about, and that's the conversation around fees. It's really important to know, what are the different types of fees out there? How much am I paying? Is that a lot? Is it not a lot? So let's just start and go through the different, very different layers of fees, how they work, and how they may impact your portfolio, your assets long term. So, starting with mutual funds, one fee, one fixture of a mutual fund is an expense ratio. Expense ratios, they come out of the return of the investment, an internal cost. They can be very low in cost, ranging from just a couple basis points, 2/100ths, 3/100ths of a percent, to 2%, or in the high twos, close to 3%, or even over 3% in some cases. So a lot of people aren't even aware. Oh, I wasn't aware that there was an internal cost of my mutual fund that came out of the performance. So important to know, what are the expense ratio that you're paying? What's the average? Just be aware of it. Another characteristic of a fee of a mutual fund is some have loads. There are A share, B share, or C shares are common loads or commissions associated with certain mutual funds. So the way an A share works is, let's use $100,000 as an example. You invest $100,000, 5% or 5% or $5,000 would go to the broker or the mutual fund company. $95,000 gets invested. It's a front end cost or commission or load. There's also B shares, which are more of a declining back-end surrender charge, where a common time frame would be, say, 5 years, a 5% 5-year declining surrender charge. So you invest $100,000, the full 100K goes in, but then if you sell it in the first year, you get a 5% fee, second year 4%, and so on until after that period you can liquidate it without a cost. But keep in mind that there's still that internal cost in form of expense ratio. Then a C share could be maybe a higher internal cost, or even a back-end surrender charge that just doesn't go away. So important to know, there's loads out there, there's internal expenses on mutual funds. Another type of fee would be in the form of an advisory fee. The way that may work is in, say, like a wrap account or an advisor where you hire a professional to manage your account. So there's going to be the expenses of the investments themselves, which could be in the form of an expense ratio. But then on top of that, there's an advisory fee. So let's use 1% as an example. Over a year, in that same $100,000 example, the first over a 12-month period, the full amount would be $1,000. So every quarter, they would subtract $250 out of the account. Either each quarter for 4 quarters, so into the full year, 1% has been subtracted. So advisory fees can range very, very widely also, from low to over 1 or over 2%. There's also a third layer are transaction fees, just general transaction fees. So there could be costs to purchase or sell certain securities, and those can be very range dramatically from just a nominal, say $4 or $5 or even cheaper transaction fee to $35, $45, $55 So really important to know what are the types of fees that I'm paying. Just being aware that there are multiple layers of fees in portfolios, and if someone were to ask, what is the total cost that you're paying, just being able to answer that. So transparency and discussing fees is something that's very important to me. And I have a strong feeling that the longer the time frame and the larger the dollar amount, even 0.5%, 1% can have very significant impacts on the value of your assets over a long period of time. I mean, even 1%, let's say you're 60 years old, and you're going to live into your 90s, you have $1, $2, $3 million. What's 1%, 1.5% compounded over 20 or 30 years on $2 or $3 million? That can be significant. So that's one way to, in my opinion, kind of optimize things, and just something important to be very aware of. But I'd love to talk with you about it in more detail. Feel free to contact me at any time. We can have a longer conversation about your specific situation. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.